they do is on the back end, they do the data entry part, the bookkeeping and everything. And the local staff always take care of the client relationship, doing the reporting, budgeting, and cash flow forecasting. All the high end part as well as the advisory side is usually taken care by the local staff or maybe the in-house staff, right? But what's difference with our team is like they do both these parts. So they do the back office stuff, which is usually the bookkeeping, the payroll, and APR management. But on the same time, they always play the front end role. So they usually talk with clients more regularly. They run the management meetings, they conduct all these ad hoc reporting to meetings, and also sometimes they engage with a bit of advisory part as well. And some of our team members even support the tax firms as well on getting their taxes done. So that's why I say it's more front end. It's not like all our clients know that this particular team member is exists, but some of the outsourcing companies, all what they know is okay, there's someone is doing the work. They have not even seen the person or have
Right.
not met the person. So that's what I call like the front end.
Yeah, right. So essentially, you guys take care of the client, like of the delivery and of the client management slash
Exactly.
communication.
So we mainly focus
Yeah.
on the client relationship together with the operation.
Yeah, got it. All right, cool. And then so tell me a little bit more, how does it work? So I was reading a little bit up on LinkedIn. It said when you guys first start, you go to the business, you do a bit of a like time audit and you see where most of the time is going. Can you tell me a little bit more, firstly, how does that process work? How do you do that like time audit and see where the time goes?
Okay, so firstly, I'll just give a brief about my background. So I think that will be more useful. Initially, same as others, I started my career as an employee. So my first job was I worked as an intern, and then I moved to an outsourcing firm which was based in Australia. So there, it was a startup which started back in 2015, and when I joined, there were only like 5 members, and we didn't have much of processes, systems, and everything. And I would say that's more like the beginning stage of the offshore world, like global. There were like few couple of I would say well reputed companies, but it was not that famous in the world. For me, it was always a challenge because I got a new team. We were not aware of much of the systems to everything. I was initially, recruited as an assistant accountant, and I had to work with few clients based in Australia, mainly bookkeeping firms. So our main goal was to always come up with new processes, streamline their current processes, and work on that way. So I had a 5 year journey with that company, and then proud to say that from 5 employees to 40 employees, I was able to support the company directors to grow that firm. So with that, what I learned was like, if a client comes to us, if we are just providing the same level of service the previous bookkeeper is doing, it will not add any value. So our initial stage was like all the time. What we initially do is whenever a client approach us, we request for a little bit of time, let's say 1 or 2 days, where we get the system access and we go through the entire history. Let's say like if the history is like really big, we usually go back 2 3 years of financials, and we try to see like what they have done before. So with that, I would say 90% of the time we were able to find errors, and some of outdated systems they have done, or maybe some clients they have more relying on like manual work like excels to everything. So when it comes to time audit, what a time audit means is like whenever a client comes at the moment for us, what we mainly do is we just talk with the owner and see like how many hours they are spending. So most of our clients are like startup companies, or else they are in the growth stage. So the main thing the client like the CPO bookkeeping firms have as a challenge is like they can't grow because the owners are always stuck with the operation. So maybe the higher management is stuck with the operation. So as the first step, what we do is we just dive a little deeper and see where the time is spent by the management team or the owners. So with that, we try to give them that freedom, saying okay, since we do have that experienced team, you don't need to spend more time on these part of things in future, especially the admin stuff. Or maybe, there are some owners we have like seen, they're even chasing the receipt from the clients, or maybe they're asking, to schedule the meetings to everything. So we take all of those out from the clients, and then even doing the management reporting to everything, we take everything out of the client's workload, and then we free up his time. So that's what the end outcome of the time audit. So we audit their
Yeah.
process, take the recurring operational work from them, and let them focus on the most valuable stuff, like let's say CFO advisory or tax planning, those kind of things.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. And can you just go a little bit deeper? How do you go about doing this time audit? Because I guess most people have no idea where their time goes, right? So how do you say, okay, cool, you spend 30 minutes a day chasing up documents, you spend an hour doing this. How do you guys go about do that? And do you do it to that level where it's like, okay, you spent 30 minutes a day on this, or what does that look like?
Okay, so basically, one of the key things most of the firm owners spend their time is like email management. Like, so for an example, we are recently start working with an US based firm. So that firm owner, she usually get like 100 to 150 emails per day, right? So, and she goes through everything, and she actually spend like I would say 2 to 3 hours per day just to clear the emails. And if we really take, there will be only 20 emails coming from the clients, and I would say 20% are advertisements, another 20% those are newsletters, and another those are more like, let's say, follow-ups to everything. So what we do is like, if we take email management as an example, we split the kind of work. So when it comes to advertisement, it's a simple fix, right? If it's really not work for you, you can simply go unsubscribe for the advertisement or the newsletters. Or and we do create labels, so we appoint someone from our admin team to clear their emails and maybe label it properly. So in case the owner really needs to check on whatever the newsletters that has come through, so that the owner can simply go to the respective folder and check it, not like every day morning spend 2 to 3 hours on going through these things. So that's one part of when it comes to email management. And when it comes to client responses, so this is another problem. So I'm taking this recent client as an example. So there's an accounting team. Before we came on board, they had an accounting team. The owner was there. So we initially came as a party where we're gonna support on the virtual assistant side. So we initially took the workload from the owner, email management, and the email client follow-ups to everything. And then later on, what we found out was like, the accounting team was there, but they are not actually emailing to the client. They do the bookkeeping, they update the queries to everything and update whatever the missing documents. So the owner has to go and send the emails to the client, and when the emails come, the owner has to again respond, the firm owner. And then she go through everything, the queries to statements, and then pass on to the accounts team. So it's more like a double work, because the accounting team again review all the queries to statements. So those kind of
Mhm.
double work to everything, we kind of take it out. So after we came on board, all what we did was we asked the client whether can you introduce us to the client. So with that, we had an introduction call with all her clients, and then from there onwards, all what we did was, okay, uh, the owner even does not need to look on what's happening. The only moment she will be engaging with the client will be a 30-minute call on a monthly basis. It's just to take the clients through the performance and keep that relationship, because if the relationship goes out, it can impact the business, especially when it comes to future growth or referrals and everything. So that's I would say a small example I can share with you. And also when it
Mhm.
comes to accounting work, we do a bit of detailed review to everything. Maybe we can discuss that later.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then changing gears a little bit. So I know when we previously spoke, you said one of the challenges for you guys is like that initial trust when you are getting new clients. So maybe can you tell us a little bit more? What's your process in terms of getting these accounting like clients and getting these accounting firms?
Okay, so when it comes to the challenges, I can split it into two. So before COVID, the challenge was different. So whenever if we wanted to approach clients, whenever we present about offshore accounting, uh, they were like they always had that feeling, okay, can an offshore team handles our work? Because always companies want to see their employees maybe within office or maybe once a month or so. So offshore team was always kind of seen as something different. But so the challenge was initially, as you mentioned, getting that trust. But post COVID, what happened was like with the remote work came on, or like all the firm owners thought, okay, like if my team can work fully remote within the country, why can't I get a team outside the country? So with that, the firm started getting the support of offshore, but on the same time it created a challenge for the good offshore companies, mainly because when this opportunity came, all the people, like let's say a person who has just worked for 1 year in an outsourcing company or offshore team, he resigned and he started an offshore company. So with this, like for an example, if you really do a research before COVID and post COVID, like I would say there's a huge difference of the number of offshore companies in the world at the moment. Like for an example, my team is based in Sri Lanka. I would say before COVID it was like max I would say 5 to 10 companies, but if you check now, there are like 30-40 companies. So one of the key challenges now we are facing is like, yes, like because for clients they always see us as another offshore service provider. Until they work with us, they can't get that trust unless they go and check one of our referrals, right? So with that, that's kind of a challenge. But the thing is, we are not going after clients. We always talk about our experience, everything, especially on LinkedIn and with our clients. So with that only the clients are reaching to us. So because of that, it has not been a challenge. But again, going back to the point, since most of the time the clients which comes to us have previously used another offshore company, again the challenge is like they have not done a good job. So for us, sometimes we need to start from the scratch or maybe clean up stuff and go from there. So offshore is something really good, but on the same time the problem is like people has misused the opportunity and everyone has come to the industry, and because of that the firm owners see that as a low quality approach, or maybe they see it as okay, offshore is something we can get the cost efficiency but the quality is low. But the truth is like there are companies where they have high quality, even better than the local staff, and also they
Yeah.
can. So the cost efficiency is always kind of, I would say, it's a byproduct, it's not the main product. Yes, like when you hire from outside the country, you can obviously get the benefit of less cost, but
Yeah.
that's not the real benefit for I would say it's the real benefit is something totally different.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, I can definitely imagine um like trying to stand out from all the different ones and show you provide a good service as opposed to some who don't would be a challenge. So what do you guys do currently in terms of marketing? Like how do you get new clients? And especially when trust is not always high.
Well, to be honest, we are not into, I would say, major marketing. Yeah, we have done some lead generation then and there. But for us, we mainly work with our clients. So we grow with our clients. That's our main, I would say, the core thing we are mainly prioritizing. For an example, like we started working with a Australian-based bookkeeping firm. So they initially had like 4 members, and we joined with them back in 2023, and for now they initially recruited one person from us, and so far they have already recruited 8 people from us. So that's how it works. So it's not like we are going after new clients always. Whatever the whoever the client comes to us, we grow with them. So for an example, the first client I work with, she was a New Zealand based bookkeeping firm. So I would say that's where my journey started. So I was an employee and I had a thought, okay, I should start a company, but I was like 50-50, I would say. And since this lady reached out to me asking support, we shared knowledge to experience. At the point I started with her, she only had two clients, and her revenue was, I would say, somewhere around 1,000 New Zealand dollars. So she was like barely, kind of covering her expenses. So when I came on board, what I saw was like she didn't have any system. She was stuck with the bookkeeping to operations. So the main thing I did was I created the processes. I got my team to work with her, and within just 2 years we went from 3 clients to 40 clients. So basically, I don't want to go and find new clients as long as I support my current clients. So uh,
Yeah.
to answer your question, we are not doing that kind of Google ads, Facebook marketing, LinkedIn boosts. No, we are
Yeah.
not doing anything at all. To be honest, I have
Hmm.
only done one time lead generation marketing for 3 months, but the service provider was not that great, so I had to discontinue it, and I had to kind of
Yeah.
move forward with what I trust most, which is the referral program. So, and also another way I usually get clients are from the networking events. So I usually join so much of networking events in Australia and US. So with that also, after I share my experience to journey, they usually reach out to us. So we provide like 2 to 3 weeks of trial period to showcase like the talent, to things we can add value to their processes. So with that, usually they come on board as client and work with us.
Nice. And then for the networking events, is that like in-person networking events, like you're going there and then meeting them, or what do you mean by
No, those are
networking?
group, group networking events. Like I'm not the host, but there are people who host networking events in both Australia and US. So I always join with them and share ideas and knowledge to everything with people. It's more like kind of gatherings we have. I would simply say, but with that people start referring people who are in need of the services we are offering.
Yeah. But this is in person, right? Not online.
We do both. So sometimes it goes
Okay.
in person, but yeah, there are some online sessions going every week, like 1 to 2 times a week. There are two sessions in Australia. I usually join every week online, and there's one US based online networking session as well.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. And then how does like an online networking session work? Is it like little breakout rooms and
Yes,
people
yes.
can talk,
So
or
basically,
yeah.
we have the initial like 5 to 10 minute session where everyone kind of do a quick intro, and then we go out for like 5 member breakout rooms, and then we start sharing each
Yeah.
other's stuff, and then again we are breaking into another room. So likewise, we are kind of sharing each other's journey to experience
Right.
the services, and that's where things going on.
All right, that sounds pretty cool. I've actually never heard of something like that. What's the name of the community that does that stuff?
So there are few actually. There's one networking event done by Edsia. So I usually join for his networking events, and also
Yeah.
there's another one. Even I think I got the invitation today for this week's one. I it's Her name is called Alexia. So she's also hosting an online networking event, and we usually have at least 30 to 40 members joining like each session.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Could you send me the link
Yeah,
to those things
sure.
after the podcast? I'd
More
love to
than happy
check
to. Yeah.
that out. That sounds really cool. Yeah, so I know we're starting to run out of time here, so how about let's finish on what's like next for you guys? What does like the next couple of months look like? What are some of the projects that you're working on like as a business?
Yeah, honestly, December is more like, a month we're gonna slow down. But one of our clients, they had their conference like last month. So, how they are getting clients is they are conducting conferences across Australia. So, we have already, like, the client has already requested us to onboard 2 to 3 new employees to take on the new work. So, these days we are working on those projects because, as I mentioned, whenever a new client comes up, we are not just taking from where it was. We just go back, try to find new
Mm.
where we can streamline the processes. So for the next 2 to 3 months time, we're going to be kind of packed with one of Australia's client projects where we have to onboard 3 new employees to the client's assignment, and on the same time we have another assignment going with US. So they have terminated their other offshore team, so we have come into action. So we are creating all the processes to CRMs to everything, and we are working on that.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. So you're training up someone on their onshore team, like new people on the onshore team.
Yeah, so basically we have a
Yeah.
different
Uh-huh.
training program. So whenever we recruit team members to our team, they usually go through a 3 month training program, and we keep them as the backup option. So whenever a client reach out, we can't just go do the recruitment and everything. So we always have our own specific training program where our new team members go through a 3 month program, and when the clients want new team members, we are just onboarding them to the client assignment, and slowly the team managers are kind of guiding them until they come onto the right track.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's been great having you on the show. Where can people go find a little bit more about you guys and what you do?
Sorry, can you repeat it again?
So I was saying, where can people go to learn a little bit more about you and what you guys do?
Yeah, they can always look onto my website jamachoaccountants.com, and also I'm pretty much active always on LinkedIn. So my name goes as Stephan, and I'm more than happy to share that with you. So there, I usually rather than people typically doing marketing, I always share about our experience, the journey, and the challenges most of the companies facing. So that's where we have been able to kind of get the trust from the client.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, I'll include the links in the show notes below. It's been great having you on. Appreciate your time. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.